Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the schmoes know, this is DC News, bringing you the most up-to-date discussion and commentary within the DC universe.
Hello, movie fans, and welcome to episode 2 of DC Movie News. With this episode, we will have doubled our total output. Nobody said that we could do it. We made it to number 2. I'm Adam Gertler.
I'm Roxy Striar.
I'm Jonny Loquasto, and guys, I really think that new music is impressive.
It feels strong. It feels heroic.
That's way better than what I put together for a first episode. So kudos to Popcorn Talk.
Johnny's a bit butthurt.
That's all right.
So, okay, Johnny, you just landed yet again, world traveler. Where did you come from?
I was in Florida, followed by Nashville, and I was actually emceeing for these crazy runs called the Tough Mudder. They're these like 12-mile obstacle course races.
Are those where you get electrocuted?
You get electrocuted.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy stuff that white people like to do. And I actually met a couple DC fellow family members, a couple guys that were wearing they had a Superman and it was a Batman. And got a picture, put it on the Facebook page.
World's finest, yeah.
And there were a couple Marvel guys. I wouldn't let them in the picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No
really
Marvel
just
allowed.
Drawing the line. Hey.
Captain America tried to get in really hard, and I'm like, sorry, bro, take the shield elsewhere.
I say one love, all superheroes all the time. That's me.
Actually, Superman was black in the picture, so it's not just white people.
Great. Excellent. Just like steel. Roxy, how was your week?
It was good. It was awesome. The best part of my week is being here right now, honestly. It was amazing, the feedback that we got from you guys.
Thank you, yeah.
It really encouraged us.
Yeah. You like us, you really like us kind of thing. So with that, we should probably get into it because there was nothing, if not a deluge of DC movie news this week. Up till coming here to the studio, I almost couldn't leave because stuff kept pouring in. So I think we're going to kick it off.
I got off the plane. I got like 9 links from you. I'm like, all right, man, let's just
what's going on? He's like, I don't even know, but don't worry. It's all an opinion-based thing. We love hearing what you think, by the way, so keep reaching out to us. That's awesome. We love it.
Yeah, thank you very much for all the positive feedback and the fact that you guys are as excited as we are. You enjoy the show, and we're doing it for you, and we're going to answer your questions a little bit later on, too. So,
if you guys want to know where to find us, I'm just going to let you know because we are now part of this amazing new network, Popcorn Talk. So their website is popcorntalk.com. You can go there. You can find us. You can find us on iTunes still, on YouTube, or youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network. Their Twitter handle is @ThePopcornTalk. Ours is still at DC Movies SK. And our Facebook.com/Popcorn Talk Network, or Facebook.com/DC Movie News. Thank you for sticking with me through that. There's a lot of places you can find us.
And also, very vital, guys, please go to the iTunes page. All you got to do is search DC Movie News. Bam, it takes you right to our iTunes. Please rate us 5 stars. Write us a nice review. That gets us up those rankings. We hit, top 10 in movie podcasts.
Of something. I don't even know what that means, but
yeah. It was nice.
Cheers.
I will tell you, with all those places that you can find us, and so many of you did, my parents were still completely unable to find us until last night. I had to bring the laptop in my bedroom and walk them through it. They just could not find it. But then when they finally did, they liked it.
Still living with your parents.
I was just going to say, that made it sound like you were living with mom.
No, they were on the other side of the country. I just mean I had to go into my... The reason I had to go into the bedroom is because I can't talk on the phone because I don't get reception in the living room, so I had to go into the thing. It's too much information. Let's start off talking about the Suicide Squad rumor mill. This is obviously the next film after Batman v Superman, so it should come as no surprise that we're getting a lot of information about this. And again, very little has been actually confirmed from Warner Brothers, but we're going to talk about things at all different levels of rumors, some that are strong possibilities and some that are whisperings and rumors, and we're going to talk about our opinions on them. Let's talk about first bit of casting thing that has a lot of people very excited. Collider reports that Margot Robbie, she often incites that reaction, has signed on to play Harley Quinn.
I love it.
Look at that picture.
I love it.
Look at this. And this is Brennan Drapeau. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. This is some fan-made art. You see he put the little schmoes no here.
That's incredible.
Isn't that awesome?
I thought this was legit from a movie production company or something.
Fan-made. So DC, Warner Brothers, take note. You know what I love? He threw Deathstroke in here, too.
It's really cool. It's a great piece of artwork.
Wilson. And then, of course, you got Deadshot over there.
It's so cool, and I think that she would be an awesome pick. I know she's not confirmed, but I'm really thinking that's what's going to happen.
How did he dress her up in the perfect outfit and the hair? makeup.
It's amazing.
Some people have a lot of
Maybe we'll have
talent.
to reach out to him. So, Loquasto,
Yo.
what do you think about Robbie as Harley Quinn?
What am I gonna say? No, I mean, really, she in more ways than one could argue she is one of the hottest actresses out there right now. I
In
mean,
all the ways, yeah.
let's be honest.
Ways.
Wolf of Wall Street was 9 hours long, and she stole the film. As great as everyone was in that film, when you saw her for the first time, and then all throughout the movie, it was just incredible. And I think, isn't she Australian?
She is.
Pulled off that Jersey accent.
Yeah,
Whatever,
she
New York
was-
accent perfectly.
You know what I like about the casting of her after seeing Wolf of Wall Street is I don't know if I would say she stole the show for me because I think there was a lot of show stealing.
Right.
But I think that she was a little crazy, and she's going to need to be a whole lot of crazy.
She certainly held her own with Oscar
Right.
winners.
Of course, absolutely. I think she's a great pick. Obviously, she's drop dead gorgeous. Nobody's going to mind watching her on screen, but I think she's a very talented actress as well.
can
And I'm
pull
really
it off.
excited if she is who
It's a
picked.
great character. Again, this is a character that just came about in the 90s. It was introduced in the animated series. It became so much part of the collective consciousness that it crossed over into the mainstream DC universe, and people love it. Now we're actually going to see Harley Quinn on the big screen. It looks like that's going to happen.
Supposedly, she was the #1 costume at Comic-Con. Supposedly. So
my God.
the character is blowing up.
Margot Robbie?
No,
Yeah, good luck dressing up
Because
like Margot Robbie.
I would know what my outfit would be for Margot Robbie.
no, Harley Quinn. And I'm actually talking about the more recent New York Comic-Con, not San Diego. But she's blowing up as a character.
Well, you look at her too. She's in her. I want to say she's in her mid-20s. So she grew up during the Batman cartoon era.
I think she's 24. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. So she probably grew up knowing who Harley Quinn was. And she could make the character her own. And honestly, she's a great actress. She proved it in Wolf of Wall Street. So why not?
I really hope this happens. I'm really excited. Hopefully, by next week, we're going to be talking about that this is confirmed. But let's talk about this. You can't talk about Harley Quinn without talking about her puddin'.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Mr. J. And I'm talking about the Joker, okay? And we have a rumor.
Yeah, we do. A rumor that people are really embracing.
What's
It's Jared Leto, everyone.
Jesus. Oh, it's Jared Leto. Okay.
It's confusing
Sorry.
sometimes, I know.
It's- yeah.
They both walk on water. This is awesome.
Oscar winner, rock star, Jared Leto.
Does it all.
The only part about this that I'm not really enjoying is which movie he might be introduced during. We'll talk about more specifics later. I think that he will do a great job as the Joker, though, if he is.
Yeah, he did win. Did he win the Oscar or was he just nominated?
For Dallas Buyers Club?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he won.
But he was great.
I'm pretty sure he won.
I
You're
think
gonna
he, I,
confirm.
think, I don't think
Strong.
McConaughey won, but I think he did. Maybe
No,
I'm wrong. on that.
McConaughey definitely
did
won,
win. No,
because
they
remember
both
that
won.
speech where he thanked himself and said that he
Maybe
was
he
his
did.
own inspiration?
Yeah. No, that was genius.
Jared Leto won.
Yeah, he did win. Thank you,
Thanks,
Jatorel.
Yay!
Jatorel confirms he won. So, okay, here's an interesting thing. Here's my take on this. Very difficult shoes to step in. I think that Heath Ledger's performance of the Joker was, bar none, one of my favorite performances of the past 10 years, superhero or not. He brought the Joker to the life in a way that I thought it could look silly in so many different ways. I mean, the guy is a freaking clown, and he made a legitimately scary threat.
Terrifying.
So if this is true, I think ballsy of Leto to jump into those shoes so soon. What do you think?
Honestly, if you said that about every time somebody played the Joker, like what about Jack Nicholson? You know, everybody who's played the Joker has been
Over like 20 years goes by
Yeah,
though in its time. You know, this
absolutely.
is just a few years later.
It's a very sensitive subject because of the fact that he was so amazing and because of what happened to Heath Ledger afterwards. And he did win the Oscar for this and all of those things. It's
different.
It's different
It's
and it's a
different than
huge
Jack.
role.
Yeah.
It's a huge role. If we were talking about an actor that I thought would bomb this, I would be sitting here saying they can't include this character in the entire universe right now.
Right.
But I do think that the Joker is, if not the #1, then top 3 villains of all time. So do I want to see him? Of course I want to see him. I'm a fan. So I obviously think that they should just do the best job they can casting him, and this would be the best job they could do.
Do you want to see the Joker in the Suicide Squad movie?
I would not be against it. I mean, look, I think it's unfair to expect Jared Leto to give a Heath Ledger style of the Joker, because only Heath Ledger can do that.
Right.
I think it's going to be maybe a different reincarnation of the Joker. Is it going to be more of like the goofier Jack Nicholson style? There's no way he could be as terrifying as Heath Ledger. He just can't do it. It's not possible.
It's got to be different. I agree.
It's gotta be different.
It's got to be a different take, and I don't know what
and that's
that
okay.
is.
None of us know what that is. But I
Smarter
think,
men than me are making those decisions.
Exactly, and I think that's completely okay to have a different reincarnation of the Joker. if Jared Leto's going to do it, and I'm okay with it.
Now, there's been some concern, like, again, the Suicide Squad is being referred to as the Dirty Dozen, not the Magnificent Seven. Thank you very much, Internet. I spaced, okay? So, the Dirty Dozen. So, this is like
live. We tend to space
these are criminals that then go on a mission. But for all intents and purposes, they are the protagonists of this film. So, a lot of people are like, hey, you can't have the Joker go on a mission. My thought is that maybe he's not going on a mission as the Suicide Squad. Maybe he's in the jail. Maybe he's in Arkham in like a real Hannibal Lecter type capacity. Like he's already been beaten by Batman. We know it's Batman in a later time. And maybe his presence is looming. And maybe this is an introduction of Joker. And maybe by the end of the movie, he escapes.
But here's my problem with it. Understandably, the person that the Joker is with most other than Batman would be Harley Quinn. So introducing him in a movie with Harley Quinn makes a little bit of sense, but I really want to see him introduced in a movie with Batman. Batman and Joker are the biggest rivals of all time. They help each other out, and the fact that Batman is obviously not going to be in the Suicide Squad.
But we already know. We've seen Batman and Joker together. Like the people, the world knows that they go together. I think it would be, again, bold. I want to see bravery and boldery from this DC Warner universe. I want to see them saying, you know what, we're not doing a Joker origin. We're saying in this world that, maybe Batman's already faced the Joker because we know it's a latter-day Batman.
But it's the coolest part about the Joker. And watching that.
And who's to say, maybe you have an appearance of the Joker in Batman vs. Superman, maybe he's locked up in Arkham Asylum. Doesn't mean he's going to make an appearance in Suicide Squad. They could save him for maybe down the road sometime.
Right. Well, I mean, just those are the rumors. Now, if Leto is not the Joker, would you still want to see him in another role in Suicide Squad?
I just want to see him all the time. I think he's fabulous, so yes.
I agree. You a fan?
Yeah, I mean, how do you not like what Jared Leto does?
Loquasto approves.
The guy's incredibly talented. Now, what would he play in the Suicide Squad? I don't know.
Well,
but
that brings us into the next layer of the Suicide Squad rumor mill. If these castings are true, then they would be joining potentially Thomas Hardy, which people are saying is maybe Rick Flag, who's kind of just like another mercenary. His version of Rick Flag has been involved in the Suicide Squad since the early days. Will Smith, which some people are saying could be George Digger Harkness, a.k.a. Captain Boomerang. I also think that those roles could be swapped. I mean, I don't know. That seems like a weird call to me. Will Smith as Captain Boomerang.
It's funny you say that because we decided to do some of our own fantasy bookings, if you will, over the past week. And without even knowing that information, I had either Tom Hardy or Jeremy Renner as possibly Deadshot. So I guess I was kind of not that far off if Tom Hardy's a rumor.
Okay, well, Renner, I would say he's already Hawkeye. That would be almost playing like the same version of himself in another universe.
Yeah.
So while that would be great casting, if he wasn't already Hawkeye, I'd say there's no chance that happening because he's in Marvel.
Yeah.
Hardy.
I'm not saying they would do that. I'm just saying he's...
Your fantasy.
Your fantasy. Your fantasy casting. I think that's cool. There's also, so people are not even talking about either of those guys as Deadshot. I want to see Deadshot kind of at the center of this movie.
Yeah, going back for a second about Will Smith, though, you have to remember how huge of a person Will Smith is at this point. He's obviously, this is a rumor, but they're definitely not going to have Will Smith be any character that has some sort of a mask on. So that eliminates some people.
Interesting,
And the other thing is, Will Smith at this point is gunning for an Oscar nom. And other than the fact that the Joker, which was an anomaly, Heath Ledger was nominated, this is probably not a movie that somebody's going to get an Oscar nom for. So I think that, yes, he is rumored right now, but will he be confirmed? I don't know. He is huge. He's
Roxy
the hugest.
Striar is saying she doesn't think it's going to happen.
I don't know if I'm going to see Will Smith in these.
Will Smith already kind of played a superhero before. The movie didn't do that great.
Hancock, are you referring to?
I'm just saying, the dude got drunk and could fly. Technically,
not
that's
a bad
superhero.
film. We actually covered on FX Movie Download.
I can fly when I'm drunk too, just saying.
I'm of the opinion that I would like to see Will Smith in this movie.
Oh, me too, absolutely.
I want to see, he's a guy, to me, who is in need of a little rehab, as far as my opinion. Have not been a fan of his work. He's gone a little far afield for me. There was the Afterbirth scenario, the Shyamalama Ding Dong movie. Will Smith hasn't had a great movie in a long time.
Not that long.
What was the last great Will Smith movie?
Not the last great, but there's been so many greats. And also, the fact that people only remember somebody as their last movie. Think about Pursuit of Happiness, how amazing he is in that movie.
Look, as a Philly kid who grew up listening to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Will Smith can do no wrong for me. So I don't care how many bad movies he's made.
Okay, all right, listen. I want to see him in a badass DC Warner role. I really would love to see him disappear into one of these roles. I hope it happens.
Yeah.
I agree with you, though. I don't know if it's going to happen. There's also a rumor. Now, let's talk about Deadshot.
Yep.
Earlier in the week, John Bernthal, who many people know from The Walking Dead.
And from Fury most recently.
And from Fury, which was directed by who?
He's going to be one of our directors on...
David Ayer?
Yeah, he's going to be the director of Suicide Squad. There we go. I was going to say...
So, when Jon Bernthal was asked about his potential involvement in Suicide Squad, he played coy and said, I can't really talk about it.
Right.
Yeah,
Mum's the word, man.
I get that, though. I mean... I think that he would be... I think he's fabulous. I watched Walking Dead. I saw Fury. I think that he's badass, for lack of better words.
He's good at being bad, too.
Yeah.
Like, he was very good at being despicable in Walking Dead. I wanted his death the entire time, and I think he'd be a great Suicide Squad member. He could be anybody on Suicide Squad, and I'd be very happy with this casting.
What you just described is Deadshot. I mean, a guy who's a hired assassin. He doesn't care about anybody. He'll take out anyone for the right price. And he's an enemy of Batman.
And he kind of wants to die, too.
There you go.
This is the thing about Deadshot, is like he's got a thing about him that he kind of wants to go down doing his gig.
Well,
you don't dress like that unless you want to go out.
That's the whole thing with Suicide Squad, though. You know, these are people who are trying to shorten their sentence because what else do they have to live for? Nothing. You know, it's either get them out of this asylum or die.
The name says it all.
Here's yet another Deadshot rumor. So Bernthal could be in the mix. People were speculating Deadshot. Here's a little bit more information today. This is a report coming from Variety.
Yeah.
Jai Courtney, who's just kind of in every kind of franchise now. He's in the Divergent movies. He's coming out in Terminator Genesis with a Y, which you say Terminator Y-asis.
Genesis.
So I need you to help me out a little bit with him because I am not that familiar with his work, and I don't know. Is this somebody I should be looking into?
He was also in a Die Hard movie. Here's the thing about this guy.
The newest Die Hard, right?
I think the last Die Hard, which I didn't even say.
Die Hard 12.
Here's a guy. Obviously, he's stacked. He's built. They're talking about him as Deadshot. He almost feels like the Australian movie star of the week. Like they keep shoving Australian action stars down our throat, like they kind of tried to do with Sam Worthington, also in the last Terminator movie. And
which makes sense.
What do you mean? Why?
It makes a lot of sense because I'm telling you, these people who are coming from thousands and thousands of miles away to Hollywood have so much more drive. And I'm not saying that is always the case, but Australian actors tend to prove themselves over and over again because they are better trained. They are coming there. They have everything to lose, so they just...
Yeah, I guess that goes along the line with how many British actresses are also getting hugely successful now,
What about the fact that Australia originally was a penal colony? And so that there is like this past of being like, you know, thieves and hooligans.
There's a lot of dark history in Australia.
Is that why these actors make great candidates for a Suicide Squad movie?
I don't know if that's why.
To a whole other level, I don't know.
Is there something meta there? Okay, here's the other thing is like so many franchises for this guy. I personally have a feeling like this new Terminator trilogy might be a one-a-G. Like from what we're hearing about the new Terminator movies,
not great things.
I'm desperately afraid that he might not be. He could be really smart to get himself involved in the Warner DC franchises.
I feel like it's really hard, and I'm not trying to be nostalgic, but it's really hard. Terminator and Terminator 2 were such great movies. Like when I think of Terminator 2, I think the Guns N' Roses song, like just such a great film. I can't imagine they're gonna be better than those two.
I agree. I think Terminator. The only thing that made Terminator movies great are James Cameron. You know, that's why.
You think that's the only thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's the star of those movies. I'm a huge fan of classic Arnold films, but I think that Arnold needs to be in the hands of a great director and writer. I don't think he's a great performer. I think he's been in great movies because people know how to use him as a tool, as a meat prop, if you will.
He's a weapon, essentially.
I mean, Predator is one of my all-time favorite films. The first two Terminators are incredible. Total Recall, Paul Verhoeven. I mean, you know, I don't want to get into an Arnold thing here, but...
Let's not forget Mr. Freeze. Okay, let's forget Mr. Freeze. Move along.
Wow. I mean, it was relevant that you brought it up. It makes sense the segue was, and yet I hate us all now. I feel unclean.
Apologize.
You're not going back to the cooler.
I have a couple interesting possibilities. I know there's no rumors about Dr. Amanda Waller yet.
That's true, and like historically, the Suicide Squad is kind of run by Dr. Waller, so
she could be the star of the movie.
So Loquasto, who's your pick for Waller?
I'm saying maybe she's a little young for this, but I know she could pull it off. Kerry Washington.
Kerry Washington.
She's
amazing.
Sexy, sultry, great actress. She's done
Good at being bad.
Right, so many different projects. She could be demanding on screen. She could be in charge of the whole crew.
Sometimes Amanda Waller has been kind of like a heavyset woman too,
Right.
but I think you're right. I think they're going to go younger.
They're
going to go hotter.
younger,
Yeah.
man.
Young and hot. That's what they're doing on the TV shows right now with Arrow and Amanda Waller.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't even think of that. And you know what? With the whole I like the fact that you get multiple Amanda Wallers. Like some people are like, oh, it's confusing. It's not confusing. It's better that people are familiar with these minor characters and they have several iterations of them. Right. I think it only helps the movies.
And Black Manta. Any ideas for that?
Okay, interesting that you should say Black Manta, because I want to hold your casting for 1 second.
Got it.
Because let's look at the picture that Jeff Johns tweeted. Jeff Johns, the chief creative officer of DC Comics, tweeted a series of pictures the other day. I think it was Sunday, one after another. Okay, and
He's just messing with us at this point.
could he be messing with us? We don't know. But just so I'm saying, so you have Harley Quinn, you have Black Manta, you have Sinestro from obviously the Yellow Lanterns, you have Black Adam, which we already know is being played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
right.
You have Atrocitus, who is a Red Lantern villain, and you have not Mr. Freeze, but
Captain Cold.
Captain Cold.
But I thought it was Mr. Freeze, but it is Captain Cold.
It is Captain Cold because Mr. Freeze is always in his tank and
Okay.
usually played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, as we know. So this would be a really weird Suicide Squad to me if it was, because they are like some big bads. Like, you want to see these people be villains and they're not like incarcerated. It just seems like it would be a weird
You're
thing.
missing 3 major ones in this
All right.
Yeah.
picture.
Here's the thing, though, guys. The bigger the hero is, the less likely they are to get caught because they're better at what they do. We're talking about villains.
Okay,
Sorry,
good,
not
yes.
heroes. Villains. We're talking
Said
about villains.
Bigger
that,
Hero 6.
Bigger,
There's a Bigger Hero 6.
we're talking about villains right now that have been caught, that are in asylums, that are doing this whole thing. So obviously they're not as iconic as the Joker or as Bane or as any of those people that we've seen in the past. I love this. I love that we're about to invest in, it's almost like a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing.
This
we're
would be pretty
investing-
cosmic.
Yeah.
So how would you feel if this was your Sinister Six?
I'm feeling like, okay, sign me up. Sign me up.
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
I think
I've got my girl Harley, so I'm all set.
I think he's messing with us.
You think he's messing with us?
Yeah, because last week there was a totally different bunch of photos that came out. So
We know Harley is probably in the
definitely think
movie.
he's messing with
here's
us.
here's one thing that I think is like Black Adam. We know is cast as The Rock. I can't imagine we're not going to see The Rock until 2020. But we'll talk about this later. As we don't even know if Shazam is going to be in the same universe. That's
Right.
a whole other conversation.
The Rock's going to show up at one of the films. There's no doubt about that.
You said you had Black Manta casting.
For me, I mean, you look at the character Black Manta is before he becomes Black Manta. I think Chadwick Boseman, boom.
Oh, wouldn't that be interesting? He plays the Black Panther and the Black Manta. Any character that starts with the name Black, you get Chadwick Boseman.
Yes,
I
he's
wasn't
like,
going
I'm
that's
that guy.
why.
I wasn't going the race route, but I mean, the
Well,
fact
no,
is,
hey, like he does seem to do things in pairs. Like he plays famous Black historical characters like Jackie Robinson and James Brown.
There you go.
And then he plays famous Black villains and heroes.
I'm sure many other guys can do it, but just like Margot Robbie, he's so hot right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and some people were actually saying Will
He's
Smith.
just so hot right
He's
now.
just so hot. No,
I'll
he's
do it
great.
for you.
I'm glad he's going to be Black Panther. People were obviously talking about Will Smith for Black Manta as well.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know. There's so many possible names. I love that they're messing with us. But soon, this movie's coming up in August 2016, so we got to get a cast list.
Oh, we
soon.
got to get something. I mean, come on.
Well, we're missing a big
Give it
one.
to us.
We haven't talked about a big one. Blockbuster.
Oh, Blockbuster. Right. Wait, there have been rumors about Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obviously our big bruiser. What, do you have a casting for Blockbuster?
I sure do, because keep in mind, if they're going to go the new 52 route,
Sure
obviously
does.
he undergoes experiments on himself, an accident occurs, he becomes a super massive strong man. And this is for all our pro wrestling fans that have already crossed over into the show, which there are a lot of you out there. Let me channel my inner Paul Heyman here. Now, this casting will never happen because I don't think this guy even likes being around human beings. But who I would cast for Blockbuster is none other than Brock Lesnar. Look at that man right there, guys.
Wow.
If that's not Blockbuster, who is?
That would be. I don't know this guy at all, but that would be that your Bizarro World David Bautista casting.
What just happened?
Let me give you real stats on Brock Lesnar. He is a national collegiate wrestling champion, he was a world MMA champion, and a world WWE champion. The only person to ever do that.
Stop looking at me, Brock.
He also eats babies for a living.
Yes.
This is how much he hates people. He bought a house in Canada, and his only phone is about a quarter mile down his driveway. That's how much he hates people.
So we're casting him in the DC universe. Great.
I love this guy
I'm not
already.
saying
I'm
he-
terrified of him, but I love him.
Trust me, he's not. He would never do it. I'm just
You're
doing
just
it.
throwing it out there.
Really?
Fantasy casting, perfect look.
Okay.
What the
Brock
hell?
Lesnar, I love it.
Brock Lesnar.
Just to tie up the Suicide Squad rumor mill, after those 6 pictures, the next day, Jeff Johns tweeted one of my favorite titles of all time, hashtag Suicide Squad. Writer John Ostrander is beyond underrated, and then tweeted this picture, or a link to this
Unbelievable.
picture, which was classic first issue from one of the runs of Suicide Squad, not the original one, but from one of the runs in the 80s. And you got Bronze Tiger here, another possible Suicide Squad member, which could also be a Will Smith possibility. There's so many potential characters in Suicide Squad. We know nothing.
Is there any Suicide Squad member that you cannot live without? If they do not put blank in the movie, you are not going to see this.
For me, it's Deadshot. I feel like Deadshot is the perfect character because, he's
He'll be in it.
to be the lead of the film. I mean, I feel like it's got to be Deadshot's movie. But listen, if you prove me wrong and you make a great film, all is forgiven. I mean,
Okay.
I don't make the movies, so I can always say, this would be awesome in my geeky brain, But let's...
One more time, please.
This will be awesome. I love Suicide Squad. And then Deadshot was in it, and then the Joker.
Well, don't forget, Amanda Waller's got to be a major part of the movie.
But does she? Because
I don't
they,
know.
they're talking about Lex.
Yeah.
I could see Lex Luthor playing that same kind of role.
Maybe.
There's so many possibilities. I think Amanda Waller will be involved.
And Lex we already have cast, and he's the only one.
Right.
So
Lex is almost going to be like the person calling the shots to Waller. Waller is the person that contacts the squad.
Middleman.
Yeah,
middle
because
woman.
Lex has got to be... I think Lex is not going to be revealed as a true big bad until, second Justice League movie. He's going to be, coming off with his public image as being, this, this billionaire philanthropist, this political guy, this internet guy, but really, he's bad news.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to some filming was going on in Chicago this week. A lot of great fan pictures there. A lot of people were seeing what was going on set, and Superman was in Chicago.
That's right.
So we have
All
some
right.
great pictures. First of all, talk about Brock Lesnar.
Whoa.
Look at this beast of a man.
all right.
Has he gotten bigger?
Here's the deal, guys. First of all, he looks like an action figure, like an actual doll.
Yes!
And second of
I would
all,
take two.
Second of all, I mean, nobody looks like he's painted. It's got to be painted and stuffed in many places.
Wow.
Like,
Hey, now.
I'm
Come
pissed
on.
off right now.
There is
Listen,
no
Straight
way.
up pissed off.
First of all, and then this is just over here, he's just oh,
him.
well,
At him.
pardon me, yes, I just had my cape here for the moment, my man, very sort of,
I
British.
can tell you one thing, it's not cold on set.
This is amazing. And
It's
you know what?
adorable.
First of all, props to Henry Cavill for doing a lot of these great stunts himself. They had him, you can see him, flying for hours outside in the freezing cold in Chicago. Obviously, the cape's not there. We know they use a lot of CGI cape in the films, and the cape looked great in Man of Steel. He does look bigger. I mean, I know what you're saying. Is it part costume? But we
gotta
saw him
be.
with his shirt off.
I know. Okay, in all fairness, his body's unbelievable, and he works very hard at it, and props to him, but nobody's body is that.
Yeah,
Come on.
not even Thor.
This guy
Yeah.
did not make a lot of public appearances between Man of Steel and since he got on the set for the next movie.
Yeah.
What do you think he's been doing?
Eating his spinach.
He's been eating his fracking spinach.
I don't know, but his nutritionist and trainer needs an Oscar.
He's
if
got a
that's the case.
team. It's like Ivan Drago in Rocky IV. He's got a whole team of people responsible.
Hopefully not as many injections.
No, well, listen, whatever
would
it
be
takes. He's not competing professionally. I don't care. Whatever
I'd
you
be
got to do.
scared to touch him, though. Doesn't it seem like you would, bounce off of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what bullets do on Superman, Roxy.
Point
Duh.
taken. Point
Let's keep talking about Batman v Superman rumors. Just today, one of those things that I said happened. I want to give proper credit here to Mike Eisenberg of Tall Tale Productions, who tweeted that he personally witnessed, and Mike, your reputation is on the line. He tweeted that he witnessed IMAX cameras being used for filming Batman v Superman in Chicago, and he also claimed that it was the iconic death of the Waynes scene. So what do we
guys
think
know
about
how I
that?
feel.
What do you guys think about that?
Well, you know how I feel about that scene. Here's the deal about the IMAX, though. Great. That's awesome. I think it's wonderful. I think it's not that surprising.
No, not at all.
Yeah, people really geek out about this stuff, which is awesome. So I'm glad that they released it. Any sort of news that's coming out and causes people to talk, that's awesome. But I'm not surprised.
Don't you love those scenes in like The Dark Knight? And they totally stands out in Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises when it's the IMAX camera scenes. I mean, it's better than 3D. It's better than like you feel like you're
way
hovering
better
out
than
in the
3D.
sky. I think the opening sequence of Dark Knight Rises was a IMAX camera part, which was one of the best parts of that movie, which was not one of my favorite movies. And then
Fighting
other like
words.
cityscape parts in The Dark Knight, I believe, were used. So this really excites me because I think the best thing that Zack Snyder brings to movies is his visual style.
Right.
Bring IMAX cameras on top of that, and I am in. So very excited.
He said he's in.
The idea of the
For
death
those of you on iTunes who are a little confused with what just happened.
He didn't have a seizure. He's in. He's
death
very
of the
excited.
Wayne scene. What do you think about that? I mean, do you think why are we seeing this again?
I could only imagine it's going to be a different version of it. I don't know.
For the 13-year-old kids that are out there and wanting to see it for the
I
first
guess you have to
time.
retell the story, right?
Well, I
So
think
it's gotta be in
it'll
there.
probably be some kind of flashback thing. But I remember when Roxy, just on our last episode, which seems like so long ago,
first episode.
it was the first episode. She told us that when she had seen this movie, and I think she was like 7 or 8 years old, Batman Begins, and she had not known how Batman's origins happened. So a lot of people you could take for granted that no, it was like, yeah, it's the first time they're seeing Batman as this movie. So it is important to reintroduce that.
Right, of course. And now it's a little different. There's so many TV shows. I mean, we have Gotham. We just saw what happened. But the people who are going to see this for the first time, which is going to be a lot of people, you know?
Yes.
That's going to wow them.
I'm just really excited. This movie just seems like it's bigger and better. I love that it's still filming. I feel like it's been filming for like 8 months.
I feel like it's been filming for a really long time. I almost felt like it was wrapped.
Can I tell you guys a secret too? Like,
Wait.
I'm not allowed to do this. There will be a photo of this
telling
that
all
will
them,
happen.
too, not just us.
Shh,
Okay.
they don't need to know
We're
this.
on air.
Taking a break, you can walk away, go to the bathroom for just a second. I actually got to sit in the new Batmobile before Affleck's ass ever made contact
Really?
with that thing. True story.
Are you lying to us?
No, I'm not.
Did you make sausage for everyone on the
I'm
on
not.
set?
No. I
Okay.
know somebody that just through a connection with somebody that actually like.
I got a guy.
I got to see it. I can't say how I knew. It was at a facility out here. People that work on these cars like Fast and Furious and Batman. I saw the new thing. I got to sit in it. I took a picture. He's like, I can't like let you have that picture until DC says it's okay. But I sat in the freaking Batmobile, baby.
I feel like I don't even know you
You
anymore.
guys can come back to the show now. We were just discussing
So you
behind
can
the
see
scenes
Adam
baseball.
Gertler's new profile picture in 6 months.
Okay, let's move on to another movie that we talked a little bit about, Wonder Woman director rumors. The Wonder Woman rumor mill. So a lot of information. Last week we talked about use of a female director, and I said, well, why you gotta just go get a female director? Why can't you just get a great director? Roxy, you were of the opinion that...
There are a lot of great directors that happen to be women, and thank you for the YouTube comments that seem to agree with me.
Okay. And Johnny, you were kind of like 50-50 on the thing, right? You were like, get a great woman, get a great guy, whatever, just make a good movie.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's great they're leaving it open to casting a woman, but at the same time, I think the person just has to genuinely really want the job. And we have a couple directors female directors that already quoted themselves on talking about the job. Lexi Alexander says why she wouldn't take the job, Adam.
What did she say? Why don't you read that quote for us?
Well, if she says yes, everyone will be very happy, including me. I don't see at this point why anyone would say yes. There is huge pressure. If a female director does fail, then all of a sudden it's all women suck at directing. I think that's a little bit too strong of a comment because a lot of women directors have already proven themselves to be very good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But the fact that even we sat on air last week and we were like, which women director do you think would be great at this? And none came to mind. And you could have sat in there and said, which male director? And we could have named about 50.
Well, we did
That
say Patty Jenkins.
Right.
And we did mention Catherine Bigelow, which
Well, we
obviously...
talked about how they had been circulating, but people haven't been sold on anybody. I'm just thinking there are not that many female directors that
Not
people
names.
know. Yeah, that
Not names.
people know by name, and that's a bummer. So I understand the strength of this comment because she is saying if somebody does get to this level, oh my God, they're directing the new DC movie and they don't do well, people are gonna be like, well, they should have gone with a man, and I'm gonna be like,
Bottom line
middle
is,
finger to you.
it's already going to be a blockbuster film centered around a female superhero, which is already more than anyone's done so far. So that's a great thing.
You know, what's interesting is that even though Punisher Warzone, which Lexi herself directed, it was much maligned, it does have like a cult following. And there was actually quite a groundswell of people that were like, you know, Lexi Alexander herself would have been great for this film. Now, I'm sure she wasn't made the offer. And I feel like if she was made the offer, I I doubt she would have said no. I don't know her personally, but come on, really? You're going to say no? Like,
That was why it was a little strange of a
who
comment.
cares if people say you suck? If you got to direct Wonder Woman, I think she was maybe guarding herself a little bit. I
Definitely.
don't
It's
know.
like the little kid on the playground, or it's like, even if you offered me the candy, I wouldn't have said, yes, I don't like that kind of candy. Like, of course you would say yes to
So
this.
wait, who was offering you candy?
Wait, are we talking about a Twix? What exactly are we talking about?
Was this a
Reese's.
chocolate-based
We're
candy?
talking about Reese's.
Well, Reese's is delicious, as would be Wonder Woman.
Reese's, not Reese's,
Reese's.
right? Okay, because we
Look,
shared a
I'm sorry.
peanut butter cup.
At one time, and what do you say?
I'm saying I'll be directing Wonder Woman. I'm taking the Reese's.
Good.
Good.
It's Reese's.
All right.
Okay, but the Hollywood Reporter actually reports, because that's what they do. I almost got stuck there. That there is a front runner, and we're really excited about this, or at least I'm really excited, by the name of Michelle McLaren. Couple of
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
You should.
So no feature films to date, but a couple of small-ish cult TV shows. Not a lot of people watch.
All right.
One is called Game of Thrones.
I believe it's Throne.
Thrones. One is called The Walking Dead.
Okay.
One is that she directed 11 episodes of bulk of the series, dude. Breaking Bad.
Wait, you mean branded?
Yeah,
So it's not
awesome.
Going, it's not going to Big Lebowski.
Love you, Loquasto. Yeah, Breaking Bad. Okay, these are, I'm not being hyperbolic here. Those are my 3 favorite TV shows of recent years.
Right.
Arguably 3 of the top shows of our generation.
I
Of all
got
time.
such excitement. If you just told me like the name of again, here this goes to my point. Like if you told me the name of a guy that I didn't recognize, but you were like, all right, look, he's done some great episodes of Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, and Breaking Bad. He's directing Wonder Woman. I would have freaked out. I'm freaking out about how cool this is.
Here's the deal. You guys know that I'm television obsessed. I watch every single show.
Mm-hmm.
That's an exaggeration, but I watch 50 shows on TV right now, I swear to gosh. These are 3 of my favorite, and these are 3 of the shows that have the biggest budget. When you talk about Game of Thrones, I think that their highest budget show was $16 million for one episode, which is outrageous.
Yeah.
But every single episode's
That's
in
a
the
lot for a
millions.
bunch of Vikings fighting.
That is double Johnny Loquasto's wardrobe budget.
It's insane. It's a larger than a lot of feature budgets. So honestly, do I think she could handle it after handling what is an hour-long episode of one of the greatest shows of all time? Yes, and she does a lot of them. I think that this is an awesome pick. I think that these kinds of, the genre is very different. You know, it's not like she directed a bunch of sitcom
State Farm
whatever.
commercials.
Yeah, exactly. I think that she
was on season 2 of Whitney.
I feel confident. I feel confident if that she was the
Is
pick.
that true? I gotta look that up.
No, she was not.
No, so this is really exciting news. And don't forget, like a lot of these first directors, even on some of the young directors that have done the Marvel movies, like the Russo brothers, like they have the brain trust of the people of Zack Snyder that have been making these films. It's not like they're going in blind.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going in half cocked. The ringer must not look empty. They're going to go in with a really big production team. And this is very, very exciting. All of those shows, by the way, have really strong female characters too. I will
Right,
say.
and both of you said it yourself. Breaking Bad, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, they all have a blockbuster movie feel to it. People,
Yes.
they set their whole weeks around watching these shows. They
Yes.
blow the internet apart every time they're on.
These are not sitting to the next day DVR shows.
No.
I have to look into which specific episode she has
I
directed.
do want to know that.
So you
talk
guys at
about
home,
that.
you might know.
Okay, moving on. I want to talk about this. This is something that we've been talking about a lot. We obviously know there's going to be a Shazam movie. We know Rock is playing
What?
back Adam. Yes, Shazam. And what is the word Shazam mean?
Oh my gosh, I can't do it.
Wisdom of
Solomon.
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 Strength of
Hercules.
the
Shaquille O'Neal. Oh, wait, that's Kazam. Sorry.
what is it like the perseverance of Apollo? I think
It was it was hard. It was.
and then the wisdom of Zeus.
There's an acronym.
Bravery of Achilles.
Apparently, it changes for
Speed
different
of
versions.
Mercury.
So good
That's
for
it.
you.
That's it.
That was
It's
good.
close enough.
It was a good
We almost-
performance.
yeah,
So people have been wondering, is this going to be in the DCU? Is The Rock going to be on the Suicide Squad? Are these going to intermingle? And, you know, there's a good arguments for both sides. The Shazam character, originally called Captain Marvel, was originally like a Fawcett comic books, and then DC acquired it in the 70s. He's gone back and forth. And New 52 Shazam exists. One reason to not combine the worlds is that Shazam is a Superman level strength, and it might be too much to have two guys of that power set. But here's what we do know that Dwayne Johnson tweeted. Somebody, I guess, named @DickFundy, great name, reached out to
Dick
him
Fundy.
and was like, is it going to be in the same universe? And this is what Dwayne Johnson said. @DickFundy, I guarantee, not a word, by the way, we're going to have badass fun with Black Adam. And then parenthetically, he says it's a New Line / DC property. #independence. I don't think that's a Philadelphia reference. No. See you at the junket, homie. What does that sound like to you guys?
I believe you don't bring The Rock on for a minor role.
Well, who says it's a minor role? It's just it's still going to be a big film, but is it going to be in the same DC universe? That's the question.
Right.
It's The Rock. I would say yes.
Despite the fact that he says it's a New Line DC property, meaning like New Line is producing it too, which is weird. Why would it be produced in a separate way than the other films?
Don't forget though, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, comes from the world of pro wrestling. Pro wrestling is based around swerving people. Ooh. It's based around the unpredictability, and especially we live in the internet age now where it's impossible to fool anyone because little leaks happen all over the place.
So you think he did that on purpose?
Maybe. The Rock, he's a second, third generation superstar in the WWE. He comes from a world of swerving people, so he's just throwing these little carrots out, and we don't know what's true and what's not, but good for him for doing it.
You know what? That is, I hadn't even thought of that. I thought this was all but an admission that this was happening outside of the DC universe.
No, man, he's just getting people excited.
Do you even think that he knows? Yes, we don't know. Do you even think he knows the truth yet? I wonder if he has any idea.
Movie fans, Schmoville, everyone, I really, really want to hear people chime in on this because I'm so conflicted. Like, on one hand, like, I really want to see it. My problem with The Rock and Dwayne Johnson as an actor, as a performer, is like I always feel like the action movies he's in are like a lot of action light movies, like a lot of like humor first, and I kind of wanted to see him be in a real grounded superhero film. Like even like the Hercules film wasn't like taking its own world seriously on a level that I want, and I wanted him in that world, and now it sounds like they might go more humorous when he's like, it's gonna be badass and fun.
It's just The Rock being The Rock.
You can't smell what he's cooking.
I can't.
Nice.
Hold on.
My olfactory senses are damaged. Okay, so that's a mystery.
I don't think he understood that. Rock.
No, I can. I do. I know a little bit of that.
Can you smell?
Anyway, are we getting new questions? What are we doing?
Yes. Let's talk about some Twitter and Facebook questions as we come toward the end of our second episode.
Time flies.
All right, guys. So you guys were amazing, and just so you know, for future weeks, we will probably do the same thing where we pull questions off of YouTube, off of Twitter, off of Facebook. So keep those questions coming if you want us to answer it.
And we'll get back to the rest of the slate too. Like we left off our first episode was a cliffhanger. We'll get back to that. It's just like it's called DC Movie News, so we got to talk about the news.
And we have time.
We'll get to the we have time.
We're not going to be surprised by
this
to
2016.
So we're going to start with some YouTube comments. This is from I'm That Guy KJ, who's an awesome fan. Thank you so much for writing. Question for the crew. What villain would you want to see be in the first Ben Affleck Batman solo film?
This is a great one. Great question. I think we all have very different answers, I would assume.
Really, really good.
And we're starting with Adam.
Okay, all right. I'm going. Oh, wow. Okay. I want to go with a villain that hasn't been in any movie yet, in any version of the universe.
I thought you already had one lined up.
No, I didn't. I didn't
Okay,
really have
and
one
we're
lined up.
starting
Go back to
with
me.
Roxy. Go ahead.
Here's what I got for you. After coming over from the TV shows and recently seeing somebody who resembled Black Mask, I would love to see Black Mask because we haven't seen that much about Black Mask. And if anybody knows about the character, basically he is brought up in a similar way as Batman, and they both are brought up very, very wealthy and whatnot. But Batman's, Bruce Wayne's parents end up dead, and actually Black Mask kills his parents. So I'd love to see the different contradictions between the two of them.
Is this the same Black Mask? Did they kind of do that on Gotham?
Yeah, they're doing on Gotham right now, but it's not actually. So the guy's name is Roman Sinus, and on Gotham his name is like Richard or something like that.
He's the guy walking around just popping cops, right?
With the mask on, who just most recently came on, which is why I got the idea to do that after watching Gotham. I don't know if they did it the best way on that show, but I do think they could do a really cool job with him. And we've seen a lot of the other people. The only person that I would like to see come back maybe for the first one would be Riddler, which could be really, really cool.
Right. Non-Jim Carrey.
Right.
Again, Jim Carrey's great, but that movie just not his fault. Just Yeah, we'd love to see another Riddler. Oh, that's a good call.
So, Black Mask.
And that I could see that fitting into the gritty, realistic world of Batman.
Absolutely. These rich kids growing up, one turns evil, one turns good.
It is a good call. All right, Loquasto, who do you got from the Rogues Gallery?
I got one. I think this is very interesting. This is a character. This is a being who's already in Arkham Asylum. He's an insane scientist, and if you combine brilliance with insanity, that's the making for a wonderful supervillain, and that would be Scarecrow.
Okay, so we've seen him already in a couple of the recent Batman films, but you're saying a different version of Scarecrow you'd like to see.
Scarecrow freaks me
prominent.
out, man.
Okay. Well, he was actually in all 3 of Nolan's films.
Yeah.
That was the one villain character that actually was represented in all 3 of the films.
He freaks me out.
All right, I'm going to go with, this is going to be wacky. You're all going to think this is wacky and might not fit in the world, but one of my favorite characters, certainly from the animated series and some great comic stories too. I remember having like a Secret Origins comic with like a lot of different versions of this guy. I'm going to go with Clayface. This was a guy, like, some versions he was an actor who's like, you had this technique where he could like mold his face, and then like he gets out of control and then he starts morphing into a monster. Like, I would like to see something a little bit supernatural.
Do you have a dream casting for him?
Oh no, I couldn't even begin to think about it. Someone like Ray Stevenson or something like that.
I really put him on the spot there, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. I mean, you could be anybody. That's the thing. It's Clayface or Killer Croc. Something ridiculous and over the top like that could be really cool.
Okay.
We have another question
right,
very similar to the villain. We have a question asking, which DC movie would you like to see besides the announced DC movie slate? I'm not sure which listener sent that in, but take a look at that one, Roxy.
Okay, great. So that's from at Mertcy Siren.
There you go.
I tend to butcher things. I'm really sorry if I butcher your name.
This one I do have an answer to.
Boom,
off the top
Adam,
of the
go.
dome. All right, this one, and I don't care if it's in the same DC universe or not. You could go separate. You could put just Shazam and this property in the same universe. That is Swamp Thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hell yes.
Why did we set him up for that? Why did we set him up for that answer?
As a kid, the Wes Craven Swamp Thing was like the scariest thing in the world to me, but I love it. It was still a superhero movie, but really scary. You'll see there's this great suspenseful part when he's in jail and his arm has been cut off and he's got to grow his arm and he sticks it out and it's just this little twig and then it grows. Oh, it's terrifying. And then there's like a midget monster too. Yeah. It's a really scary film. But I would love to see it get like a proper big budget dark Swamp Thing. There have been some great stories. Obviously, the Alan Moore stuff. There's great Swamp Thing going on right now in the comics. The second movie was ridiculous, kind of a guilty pleasure, fun movie. And then there was a series on USA. I found out, coincidentally, the same actor played Swamp Thing in all those iterations.
Wow.
He was also the actor that played the alternate version of the Hulk in that one episode, like the other, where there was a bad Hulk.
When you say found out, what do you mean? You did the research?
Yeah, I did the research to see like who is the actor that played Swamp Thing, and then I couldn't believe it was the same guy that played him in all those. But I would like to see Swamp Thing. Guillermo del Toro was talking about trying to do like a dark Justice League that would involve like Constantine and Swamp Thing and some of these other darker corners of the DC universe.
Awesome.
So I would love to see that.
Okay.
Roxy, go ahead.
All right. I mean, not in the slate was a Batman standalone, so obviously I want to see that.
Fair.
I definitely want to see something. Well, not definitely. I don't think it's going to happen. But with Martian Manhunter, that'd be really cool. I love the Last of My Kind trying to figure out the universe thing.
A lot of people were upset that there was no Manhunter.
Yeah. I was really bummed about that. But there are some great ones, and I understand we can't have everybody. And there is still years and years to come. So hopefully down the line.
Yeah. All right, I guess I'm going to go next. I like characters that are relatable. That's why I love Batman so much, because he's a guy that has no obvious superpowers. I have another one for you. We already saw this character in The Watchmen, but I think it'd be awesome to see a movie based around this guy, just because I love the name, I love the vibe, I love how mysterious he is, I love the fact that there's no gray area, it's good and evil, and that's it, and he's out to get rid of evil. That's Rorschach.
You're going Rorschach. Oh, you know what? I will say this. Anybody that doesn't agree with the fact that Rorschach was the best part of Zack Snyder's Watchmen movie, the scene when he's in the prison is like, you don't get it. You think I'm stuck in here with you? Man. You're stuck in here with me.
The mask and just the character, I mean, based off the Rorschach ink blot, it's genius ideas.
That was also another character in the film, and I'm like, this is the guy to direct Batman. The way Rorschach moved, he's very much a detective. It's very, very akin to Batman. I think
let Snyder direct that.
You know what, Loquasto? You've really surprised me. You've had some really insightful things to say.
Yeah, you
love
did.
it.
I
love it. Let's get. Do we have time for another question? Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
We're coming over from Twitter still. This is from @dynamic_wizard wants to know, do you guys think it's possible that Jenna Malone could be playing Oracle instead of Robin in Batman vs. Superman?
I think it's certainly possible. I still would love to see her as a Carrie Kelly Robin, maybe playing kind of like more like an Oracle role. And by that, I mean maybe she is at the HQ in the Batcave kind of calling the shots. I don't know. I mean, I would love to see her as a Robin too, but an Oracle as a Barbara Gordon, that would be great. Oh, which reminds me, I just want to interject. If you want to know like Barbara Gordon, one of the best stories ever told, The Killing Joke, I found is available as a motion comic on YouTube. What were they called? Gonzo Planet puts together these like motion comics where they do a full like audio drama with the comic. We saw some that were not so good.
Really great.
But this one was awesome. And The Killing Joke is an Alan Moore story. It's one of the darkest, best Batman stories ever told. So that reminded me of Barbara Gordon.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, I'm just wondering if we did end up seeing Oracle, do we see Batgirl first, or how do we get to her? I mean, does she just pop in as Oracle? Is she in the wheelchair? Is she not? Are they just using her as an assistant?
Yeah, I mean, flashback there. You know, I feel like I want to see this movie not have to spoon feed us everything. Like, give us some things that are just happened. Like, she's in the wheelchair, and maybe we see how she got there in a flashback. If they go Oracle,
Maybe she just found a good physical therapist.
maybe she found or
Valid
cybernetics.
point. Valid point.
Take it from me. Physical therapists are important.
It's a good point. And also, if she is playing Oracle, we know that she kind of got into the production a little bit later. It's possible she's like only on camera a little while, and a lot she does is voiceover, a la, Iron Man's Jarvis. Like, she's constantly in Batman's ear, helping him out in the field.
There you go.
Do we have time for more?
Yeah, let's do another one. Let's do one more, and then we'll wrap it up.
Do you want to do the question about, which DC movie are we most excited to see? Who do we want to direct it, or is that too big of a question?
That's too big of a question.
Let's save it for next week.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll save that for next week. That was coming from Facebook, so we'll get to that. But coming over from Twitter, at Movie Buff.
Oh yeah.
This he wants
Donovan
to know
Hunter.
When should we see a teaser for Batman v Superman?
Tomorrow.
Great question. Right now.
Now, is he asking me for an opinion, or if we know some stuff? 'Cause
No, either. If you know stuff, I think you should say.
I got
what
two
do you know,
guesses.
Loquasto?
I mean,
I'll tickle torture it out of you.
my only teaser I know is from I Am Legend when he's running with the dog, and we see the
Right.
symbol.
The world's finest logo. That's true.
So here are two places that I think they possibly could drop a teaser.
Okay.
One, well, it depends on how close they are to being done filming, because I feel like they should have
say
done
it, Striar.
One would be the Super Bowl, and if not,
This year's Super Bowl or next year's Super Bowl?
No, I'm hoping this year. A teaser, a little teaser.
Well, next year's Super Bowl would be almost
Over a
The
year.
next year, meaning right.
Right.
2015 is.
But I don't think they'll
happening
be
very
done in time, so I do think San Diego Comic-Con in the summer is probably when we will get our first teaser.
soon. Okay.
Yeah, and it's hard to argue with either one of those. I think if they wanted to keep it simple on the Super Bowl, they could literally do like a 15-second teaser, where just the symbol pops up and then fades away with some real ominous music.
Just the music alone.
Here's the thing. I want to say this summer. Summer 2015. It seems clean.
At
it's
Comic-Con
like
or just in general?
before Comic-Con. I don't know what one of the big Warner Brothers properties. What are the big Warner Brothers properties happening in this summer?
I think something huge has to drop at Comic-Con, though.
Yeah. No, I definitely think
if they're smart, they'll do something there.
Yeah, no, there's got to be something.
they
at
are.
Comic-Con.
They're very smart.
But even by Comic-Con next year, we could have something from Suicide Squad too. By that point,
Right.
we should be like shooting Suicide Squad.
We need a cast first.
Yeah.
Well, that's coming really soon.
That'll happen.
That's a good question.
You got to remember too, this time of year is when the entertainment business starts to slow down just a little bit. We're getting closer to holiday time, and right now I think things are going to ramp up.
But they showed
come January.
something at Comic-Con this year, so it makes you think: are they going to really make the rest of the world wait until next summer? I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know. Who knows something? That's a great question. All right.
Use your superpowers to
What
get
do
it
you-
out of them.
So that's a full show.
Yeah. Excellent. Anyway, shall we wrap it up there, guys?
Yeah.
I guess so.
You feel good about it? Once again, my name is Adam Gertler. You can find me at Adam Gertler on Twitter, Instagram, and obviously we're once again at DC Movie News SK is the show's Twitter handle.
It's just at DC Movies SK.
DC Movies SK. See, why did I try to do
We
it?
can't even keep it straight.
You know that's my job.
Okay.
And you can find me at Roxy Striar. Again, we are now part of this amazing network, Popcorn Talk, so everything is Popcorn Talk.
That's right, at Loquasto. And if you do love pro wrestling, which a lot of you do, I have a show on the Nerdist Network called the Wrestling and Padres Slamcast every single week. We actually cross over and talk about a lot of comic book stuff as well, so please listen in at Wrestling Buds as well.
Cool.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us for episode 2. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Later.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.